You know, my interest is to demystify this.
Right.
So
let's demystify it.
I mean, information, you teach people information, you teach them how to do it, and then it creates transformation. If we can measure transformation, that's more information to teach transformation better, and we can close the gap. So, in one of our advanced workshops, we actually did extensive meditation. One of the things I've realized in my own personal experience is that you have to go past the point where you want to lay down in your meditation. There comes a point when you want to lay down or you want to give up or stop. If you go a little bit past that point and you sit up a little bit longer, and then you lay down, and you can do it early in the morning, because the neurotransmitters are just right. They're not quite melatonin, they're not quite serotonin, they're in between. And if you can get up and do your meditation early enough and sit up for an extended period of time and then lay down, the light show is going to begin.
Yes.
And so I started having these mystical experiences a couple years ago, and I would literally, they were so unusual that I had to go back to my quantum physics books and begin to look at what exactly was going on. But I wasn't taking any drugs. My brain was the pharmacy, in a sense. And I was having these Kundalini experiences, and it was like I was getting plugged into a light socket, like someone plugged me into the electricity socket, and I could feel every single cell of my body turning on all at once. And it was like somebody took that dial and turned it up, and it was amazing. So there was a signature energetically of love that came with that.
Yes.
It was the thing that I became the most interested in, because when I started having these experiences, Regina, the first thing I realized is I got this all wrong. I really had it all wrong, because this intelligence is so incredibly loving, and it's who we are. We're just separate from it. We're particle instead of wave. And when your nervous system tunes into that and the electromagnetism comes with it, the only way you can describe it is that you are so present, so conscious, and so in love with the idea of being alive that you don't want anything else. You can't want in that moment, because if you started to want, you would lose the feeling. So you can't want. All you can do is be, right, and love. So I started having these experiences, and then I started thinking, well, maybe we should be able to teach this. So I started doing the research on the neuroendocrinology and what it took and the brain chemistry at the time. And then I had to start explaining what the heck was happening to me. So that's how I got involved in it. I think the biggest lie we've been ever told is that we're linear beings living a linear life.
Yes.
The moment I had my first couple of these experiences, I know we are dimensional beings living a very dimensional experience of reality. And all of this indoctrination is to keep us from that, because once the game is up, you can't ever go back to being the same person. So this reality, this dimension that we live in, is called space-time. Space is eternal. Space is the field. And you and I experience time by moving through space. So if I'm going to go here to the door, I have to get up and walk through space, and when I walk through space, I'm going to experience time. I have an interview later on today. I know it's going to happen because I'm going to linearly walk through time, space to experience that time. So in this dimension, we could say that space is the field and time is the river. And so we experience time as we move through space. Got it? Mm-hmm. In the inverse reality, it's actually opposite. In other words, time is everywhere. Time goes on forever. And you experience space when you move through time. Let me see how I can say it another way. So if time is the field and space is the river, then all of space is enfolded in time. So when you change your speed in this dimension, if we go fast from here to the door, the faster we move, the less time it takes, right? So we can change time by moving through speed. Well, in this dimension where everything is vibration and electromagnetism, the faster your vibration is, the speed, the different levels of space you experience. So all of space is stacked on top of each other here. It's all happening in now because time is everywhere. There is no time. So everything's happening in this moment. And so different levels of consciousness and different levels of energy allow us to experience these different levels of space. So the you that's in the Egyptian period and the you that's in the future is all lined up simultaneously. And when you start slipping through these dimensions, you live. And when I say live, I'm saying that it is real as this. And you know who you are.
Yes.
And the person that you're married to, or the person that you work with, or your best friend is wearing a different face. And you understand your agreement that you negotiated in all of those other places. So you have a few of those experiences and you start to no longer care about your checking account, the car you drive, what you look like, because you realize that you look like somebody else in another place. And some of the issues and some of the challenges that you have in this life, you're experiencing in that exact same life. And the choices you make here affect the choices that are happening there. And we could say that there's only past lives and future lives in this dimension, in space-time. In that dimension, there is no past lives. It's all happening now. I don't know how else to say it, but as you begin to change your consciousness, you can slip into different spaces, different realities, and experience aspects of yourself that are just like this wonderful kaleidoscope of possibilities. Sure. I think one of the cool things about it is that you can experience future times too, and that we think that time is fixed. You know, we think it's linear, it's not fixed.
No.
And so you have to have the moment to understand, when you have the experience, that what you're doing right now is actually affecting all of your past, present, and future lives. Your moment in your meditation, your moment to give, your moment to serve, your moment to love right now affects both your future as well as your past. And when you get a little glimpse, there's the point. Whether it's the past life or the now life that's in the past, or possibly in the past, when you have that moment of expression of self, you bring that back with you. And the knowledge of you as a soul is amplified. You have more understanding to help you execute that this is an illusion that we're living in. So it no longer becomes about getting to the top of the heap or succeeding or being the most whatever. All of a sudden you're realizing now is about how you're going to make a difference, or how you're going to contribute, or how you're going to cultivate an aspect of self to help you in this life and all of those other lives that are happening simultaneously. So we've created the conditions for this in one of our advanced workshops, and boy, the stories are off the chart. And because people just get it, they just get who they are.